And today, of course, is tax day. And while you might be stressing over getting your returns in, lots of people earning big bucks year after year get away with paying a lot less than they owe. Now, President Biden is trying to change that with his infrastructure plan, asking for $80 billion to help the IRS close loopholes and crack down on tax cheats. He says it could generate $700 billion in revenue over the next 10 years. Jim Tankersley is the White House correspondent for the New York Times. He has written about this. Jim, to me, it seems like a no-brainer. You dedicate $80 billion in the front end and you get $700 billion in the back end. Is it that easy?
It's not that easy. I mean, the goal and the hope is really right there. I mean, there's a lot to be captured. There's what's called a tax gap in this country. The amount that's the difference between how much we collect from taxpayers and how much they actually owe. And the estimates from the IRS are that could be as much as $1 trillion a year. So, hey, there's a real opportunity to capture that money. But it's hard. There's a reason it's hard to get. Some of it is technology. Some of it is reporting. And so just throwing money at the problem may very well result in a lot more money coming back. A lot of studies suggest that. But it's very unclear how much it will do.
But why hasn't this been done already, right? This tax gap, I just talked to Josh Gottheimer that said this tax gap is worth $1 trillion a year. $1 trillion bucks. Wouldn't we have solved this already, or at least tried to?
Well, there's lots of reasons why. I mean, politics is a big reason why. There's concerns that the IRS is too empowered, has too much enforcement power to go after taxpayers, that it could start essentially harassing taxpayers it doesn't like. That's what Republicans keep bringing up. This worry that, it's going to go after small business owners, it's going to go to Republicans. And so I think that is the big fear here from the Republican side. But on the other side,
but hold on a second,
just
Jim.
the mechanic.
Jim.
Sure.
This fear of harassment by the IRS, they wouldn't be harassing people or businesses who were in the right. They would be collecting money that's owed.
Well, I mean, again, to play devil's advocate here, I think the argument is that there are some small business owners with very complicated tax structures because of the nature of their small business who make a lot of money in income and actually don't owe more money, but that the IRS might think they do. And so they could force them to pay a lot of compliance costs. That's the concern here. But I agree with the idea that there's a lot of money not being paid. That's what all the research shows us. And so the question is how sort of laser focused can you be to target only the people who aren't paying what they owe and not spend a lot of time trying to chase after people who don't owe very much or don't owe anything.
Even if you didn't allocate this new $80 billion, there's been a problem, a staffing problem for years at the IRS. Between 2010 and 2020, staffing is down almost 30%. How can we expect the IRS to do their job with that many fewer employees? I couldn't put this show on if suddenly 30% of less people were working on it. Why should we expect the IRS to do that?
Well, and what you've seen is the IRS has had to make choices about whom to audit, and they have not gone after the most complicated returns, the highest end taxpayers who are most likely to be evading taxes here. They have instead focused in a lot of cases, for example, enforcement on people who claim the earned income tax credit on the low end of the income spectrum. And that has a very low return in terms of how much money they're able to recapture. And but it's just easier. It's easier to do. And so I think that's going to be the trick here, is that if you can give enough resources to the IRS and enough new technology, because in many ways they're still trapped in the 50s and 60s, if you can update them, maybe they can go after those bigger fish, so to speak, who have been using more sophisticated maneuvers to avoid taxes.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.